Hello, my name is Max. In my last quarter of graduate school, I was doing research in the LLM space. So, most specifically, one of the things that I had to do was take a Chinese paper and re implement their architecture and what they did. So, what I needed to do was spin up a variety of local models here running on my 5090, pass them through a pipeline, eval them, test them, and make some sort of decision off of the results that I got. Now, one of the things that I wanted to take from that research was this ability to quickly spin up models in different ways. So, as I'm sure everyone is familiar with in the open source community, everything runs on bash scripts. What's your llama.cpp bash script? What's your VLM bash script? And that's fine. That's nice. And you can plug that in different tools like Hermes Agent and other places. Um, but it's very limiting. And in my opinion, it goes down a wrong road. So what you see right now is, say, like in a Hermes agent, is you have one system. Whether you point OpenAI at it, Anthropic, have an API token to talk to maybe a Nemotron, it all goes into one container, even if you're locally hosting it. But say in Hermes, one system, and it builds itself out, and it's self-contained. But I don't need that. I don't use that. I just want my hardware with intelligence to point anywhere and have deterministic tools that I know I can use wherever, whenever, and be done. So I'll give you some examples. Say I want to kick out the parallelization factor by 16 on a Qwen 27B. Doesn't matter what the quantization is. I want to be able to use that to say, service, maybe some people in my family want to use AI securely. They don't want to use an OpenAI, or I've convinced them to not use it. Doesn't matter. Or I want to point some sort of intelligence that's good, some good token per second, at a website that I have that's running with low user traffic, and some people get intelligence for free. Or I want to just point this at my terminal in open code, and just do some things. That's all I want to do. I don't need the fancy stuff that Hermes Agent has. I just want to be able to quickly spin something up, whether it's a Qwen 27B, Qwen 35A3B. If you actually benchmark Gemma, there's no reason to use it over a Qwen. You can do that. And so that's what OpenBeast is. And as far as I've researched, I don't think that anything else exists like this out there. And if it does, it's not well documented. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what OpenBeast is, how you can start using it, and why it's a solution to something that I don't think people are aware needs to get solved. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, let's go ahead and just hop in here. So as you can see, OpenBeast should really be thought of as your AI workstation. You get everything in one, and you can point it anywhere else. So install is extremely simple. All you have to do is clone the repo and run the bootstrap, and you're done. So if we look at this chart here, we ask ourselves, why OpenBeast? We have just some simple comparisons, nothing crazy, anywhere from llama to Hermes. But we're really thinking about this here as our local models. No cloud. We're focusing on what we own or what we want to own and sending it out anywhere else in the world. We just want to serve the models, be OpenAI compliant via API, have a whole set of agent tools we know we can use deterministically, not some system like Hermes or anything else that's building its own set of things to figure out what it should do always. Should be deterministic and simple, testable as well. Put it in a coding agent, terminal or anywhere else. One command secure, send it out via Tailscale or HTTPS. Have RBAC, standard security stuff that I'm surprised no one else is doing or thinking about. And yeah, we don't care about this self-improving agent. That's not the point of having intelligence everywhere. Maybe you want this, but this isn't scalable and this isn't replicatable, and each person is their own island. We want this such that everyone can share their learnings and everyone can share their best setups. So, yep, we just want to maximize the intelligence of your hardware you can hold without compromises. So the architecture, there's going to be no surprises here. So whether it's your phone, your laptop, or your desktop you're trying to get in, everything's wired up through Tailscale. It's secure, it's opinionated. This is the way it's going to start. So you have your ingress, and we can talk via 3 front ends. So your open WebUI, your open code, or a headless agent. And this can go out to 2 levels here. Your agent router and your tool layer. So your agent router is able to say, hey, what should I do next? Or what should my agent do? And of course, this is R backed by admin only. And then on the inside with our tool layer here, we have 4 components. You'll see at the bottom here. So we have RBAC tool server to be able to say, hey, who is who? What's their policy and what are they allowed to do? Again, I'm surprised that no one is doing this. This is just standard enterprise grade software questions getting answered. We have our MCP server to tell things how things are supposed to go. We have our whole tool arsenal, and we have SearXNG to reach out to the web, and everything just works. This all, of course, runs via llama.cpp. This could be something else, but starting out, this is what I've done. Can always change, and everything I've done here has been running by 5090. I really wanted to emphasize here that your consumer grade hardware can really do anything. I set a floor to 11 gigabytes in case you're using like a 1080 or a 2080 Ti, but I really don't want compromises. I really want someone to say, hey, I run this, it works well, it's not hallucinating in some weird ways, and it has a use case. You know, everyone uses an Opus, everyone uses a Fable, they have their places in your slot. This should be for yourself in very specific ways. And we can get to that in just a second. So if we come down here, we can go ahead and say, okay, yeah, we have our stack. Remote access is set up by a Tailscale. And I believe it's down here. I talk about the OpenBeast configuration. Yes, so we have an OpenBeast comp file where you set a lot of the configurations for this. One thing I do love is this ability, and this is a use case of mine actually, is to just point to say, hey, these are where all my weights are. I used to have weights in one place. I used to have one discretely for just OpenBeast. And the second I just ask myself, why am I doing this? I just want a configuration to point it anywhere else. Yeah, it's that easy. Now, focusing on this idea of I have a 5090 and I wanted to test what models are best for this. I have a list of models that I tested myself that would all fit in range. And it's going to be kind of cool. You're going to see in just a second what I did with those is I created my own benchmark and eval. They all take time to load. I'll show you them in just a second. But essentially, I said, hey, I want some sort of weighting of easy, medium, and hard questions. I want 6 language variations for some of those questions from Python, Go, C, C++, Rust, and Zig, things that I care about. You'll see Java or JavaScript is now on here, can be added. That's not a concern of mine. And down here, what we can see is there's a category. So anywhere from algorithms to mathematical finance to DSP, these are stuff that I care about. And I just want to know if these local models can run it, because if they can, I don't need to ask Sonnet. I don't need to ask Opus. I don't need to ask Fable. I can save the API tokens for something else, something higher level, something harder. Because these open source models and where we are today, like a Qwen 6, they are really good if you strap in the right harness, the right tools, and you point it the right direction. So let's go ahead and go back. With that said, I have benchmarked them. So I have a V4 and a V3.5. I'm working on bringing over all the V3.5s to the V4s. You can look into the weighting and the breakdown I have. But essentially, if you ran these models, I'd say 10 times on the same set, they'd probably all settle around the same places, irrespective of like there are variations from like an MTP, non-MTP, a Quopus, an obliterated. But all these are really good. And they're at a reasonable token per second. And I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. So let's just take, for example, the best here, Qwen 27D Q5 KXL. Right here, I use the obliterated version of this every single day. I've been doing this for the last month, usably, and it's phenomenal. Now, if you wanted to say host on your 3090, a 4090, maybe 2 3090s, a 2080, 2 2080s, just grab a Qwen 35A3B. It does really well with all the tool sets we have here in OpenBeast. Yeah, I'm very happy. I really am. This is V3.5. We could ignore that. I talk about some requirements here. I'm very opinionated on I want 11 to be the least. I just want everyone to have the best experience when using this no questions asked. You can go to the crazy, crazy level of, oh, I run 4 RTX 6000 Pros, or, oh, I have 2 DGX Sparks RDMA'd. That's great. We're going to get there. What we're starting out here is, I have a graphics card or I have some hardware. Let's make it usable. Let's give it intelligence and point it anywhere we want. Now, of course, this could not have been composed and brought together without all these different open source projects under one roof operating together. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due. This is under the Apache 2.0 license, so nothing crazy. Now that we've taken things top to bottom here, and we have a relatively good lay of the land of what OpenBeast is, let's go ahead and hop into a demo here. So I'm going to say, hello, what time is it right now? And what is the weather like in Danville, California, where I am at this time? So let's go ahead and see. It's running my uncensored version on my 5090. So I'm tailed scaled in right now. You can experiment with this for yourself. It's very easy to set up. So you can see it's already exploring the tool sets. It's figuring out what it needs to do. It's giving its web searches. We can let it spin its wheels. This is obviously not the MTP version that's really fast, and that's okay because we're going to get a result. So let's go ahead and just let it figure itself out, spin its wheels, and see what happens. All right, we're loading in here, and that is correct. It is 3:10 in the morning. I have work in 5 hours, but I'll think about that later. The temperature is correct. Yeah, this is all correct. That didn't take too much time at all. We can even ask it a question like, please tell me what the best recipe is for banana bread. Let it spin its wheels. Not a coding exercise, but it's pretty good. All right, let's see. Whatever this is, it's not going to be better than my mom's, but I'll take it. All right, and just so you know that everything is legit, yes. It's all the real deal. All right, well, we've taken OpenBeast end to end, and I think you now have an idea of what's possible. Please feel free to experiment. This is now going to be an open source project. This is just the start. I hope it goes far. I specifically have a use case for it. I'd imagine other people do. Now, extending this from the personal to the professional, there's some big unlock here. And so something I want you to think about is, if you're a private equity firm, if you're a law firm, if you're a medical office, something you're now able to do is take, I mean, granted, you've secured everything in your network. You're now able to take private customer data and give them intelligence on their data. I don't know any person who would really, even if you signed a confidentiality agreement that they're not going to train your data, I don't know anyone who's really going to believe that sending your data to OpenAI or Anthropic is secure. I hope you're not doing it with your medical information at all. But you're now able to then unlock this huge piece where whatever business you are, if you own hardware, if you want to buy hardware, and you don't care about all this Hermes agent stuff, like you would with a server, a Mac Mini, a small box running Proxmox, it doesn't matter. You can just have intelligence in whatever you want securely. You're done. I'm personally really excited with where things are going. I'm going to continue to use this every day. I'm going to continue to post videos. But feel free to reach out to me on X. My handle is Maximilian Khan. It's not the easiest thing to spell. I'll probably figure that out. Yeah, let's get this going, and see you soon.